Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is Saturday, March 15th, 6:33 p.m. Central Standard Time. Local time here at the local time in Oklahoma City here at the TA truck stop off of I-40 and Morgan Road. Brought my truck in to get a DOT inspection done. And it's been drama all day. The last 24 hours has been a tremendous amount of drama. We had a windstorm come through yesterday, and it was 40 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts over 70, and it damaged my roof and knocked down part of my fence at my house. And then I came over to do a DOT inspection today, and the batteries on my truck were completely dead. So I had to spend like 2 hours charging the batteries with my car before I could start the truck. And then I get over here for the DOT inspection, and they say that one of my wheel seals need to be replaced. One of my drive axle seals, the inner seal, needs to be replaced. There's sealant leaking all over the brakes. And I don't trust these mechanics out here because they work off commission. And this place is extremely slow. There's been nobody in the shop the whole time I've been here except me. All three of the mechanics are just standing around working on my truck. Well, they have one mechanic and 2 tire changers, and they're all just like standing around hanging out at my truck because there's nothing else happening here. That's not good to come into a commission-based business that's that slow, because they're going to find some way to make money off of you. But I do think that legitimately the seal need to be replaced. There was tons of fluid all around the seal and all over the brakes. So I don't think that they're being shady and telling me something needs to be replaced and it doesn't. Oh, we got a couple of cats hanging out over here. But so they went ahead and started on replacing the seal. They told me that since the brakes were covered in oil, I should replace the brakes as well, because they'll probably end up cracking whenever they get hot, when they're saturated with oil. And initially I said, no, let's not do the brakes. Let's just do the seal. Just the seal is $350. So then later on, I told him to go ahead and do the brakes as well, because there's only an extra $135 for the brakes. But then we ran into a problem. They are having a hell of a time getting the, I don't know what it's called, but getting the drive axle removed to get to the seals. There are these cone-shaped wedge, I don't know what they're called, some kind of like cone-shaped pressure seal, these little metal cone bolts or something, I don't know. They are having an absolute hell of a time getting them off, and they are destroying the things trying to remove them. And he told me to buy a set of those things is $300. So him fucking them up trying to remove them, he said it's going to cost me $300 from Volvo to get a set of those. So I'm just getting pissed off right now. Something that was initially going to cost me, he told me $300, and then we got a quote, and the quote was for $350, just an extra $50. Now he's telling me it's an extra $300 on top of that. So now we're looking at $650. And he's telling me that we probably need to go ahead and replace the bearings as well, which I don't know how much that is. I think he said it's like $700 for the bearings. I mean, I'm getting really stressed out, really frustrated right now. So if the bearings are not really messed up, then I'm going to tell him to just leave the bearings in there. At this point, I might also tell him not to replace the brakes. And then I can get it down to just $650. $350 for the seal and the labor to replace it, and then $300 for all of the cone fastener things that he is destroying, trying to remove them. I looked online how you're supposed to remove them, and it says that you are supposed to apply heat to them and then beat the center of the drive shaft with a sledgehammer until you knock them loose. Well, he's done that, but they didn't come loose. So now he's in there with vice grips trying to wrench on them to get them to break loose. And everything I've read online said you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just keep sledgehammering it until they pop loose. And it says that it can take a while of sledgehammering it before it comes loose. You need to keep applying heat and hitting it with a sledgehammer over and over until they come loose. And he's not doing that. He's in there forcefully removing them with vice grips. And he is just stripping the hell out of them with vice grips. They're not really sturdy metal. They're really soft metal. So I'm really frustrated right now. And I just asked him, I was like, do you guys have another gasket? And he said, what do you mean? I said, that gasket right there, you're going to take that, you're going to take this part off, right? And he said, yes. And I said, well, I had the outer gaskets replaced already. So if you're going to take that off, then you're going to expose that outer gasket, which means it has to be replaced again. And he said, well, it looks good. I don't see a need to replace it. But I think it's a crush gasket. So it's like, you can only use it once. Like if you ever take that thing apart, you're supposed to replace it. That's the reason that these seals leak after you get your truck towed, because the tow truck has to remove those things to tow your truck. And they don't replace the seals whenever they remove them. They just reuse the seals. So they almost always leak after you get towed. So if he doesn't replace that cheap little seal or gasket or whatever it's called, then I'm going to have somebody else come in here and do exactly what he's doing right now. And replace that gasket again. I don't know. I'm really frustrated right now. I hate dealing with mechanics. I think I'm dealing with a competency issue with this mechanic. He doesn't know how to replace this seal properly. And he is just messing stuff up trying to do it. He's really nice, but it's really pissing me off. And like, I'm thinking that I'm gonna be talking with the manager. I'm gonna have to Karen this thing. He's costing me an extra $300 because he's stripping out those little cone things. He's not removing them properly. So, getting really frustrated here. And he's already made a smart-ass remark once that, oh, I've got a few spares, so we'll see how many of them I mess up getting them out. If I use more than I have spares of, then you're going to have to pay $300 for a new set of them. No, that's not the way shit works, man. If you break shit, you're the one that pays for it. I don't know. I'm getting really frustrated because the cost just keeps going up and up and up. And I'm struggling right now. I've had way too many unexpected expenses. The freight market's been way too bad for too long. I don't know, I'm getting really frustrated right now. I haven't heard him banging in a while. So maybe he's in there with his torch heating them up again. So that's what's going on with me. I'm trying to get a DOT inspection done so I can get back out over the road. So the plan is to get a DOT inspection done today. And then Monday, whenever Landstar opens up again, contact Trailer Utilization and get a trailer. And then they will probably have a trailer for me by Tuesday. And hopefully it's not out somewhere crazy. And I'll have to drive somewhere to get it. And then after I pick the trailer up and inspect it, then I'll start looking for a load. So I'll probably be looking for a load late next week. It's probably going to take me until Thursday or Friday before I get the trailer. I did get a new parking spot where I pay to park at. The owner of the parking lot ran into me while I was out there charging the battery. And I told him I wanted to change spots because of the RXO people. I told him that somebody's been dumping trash in my parking spot and somebody dinged my car. And I suspected it was the RXO people, but I'm not 100% sure. I said that I suspect it's them, and I've heard other people have a lot of problems with them, so I would just like to move away from them. So he pulled out his list and he gave me another spot. So I'll be parking in a new spot tonight. But that's what's going on with me. I'm just really stressed out. A lot of unexpected expenses, a lot of drama. And I'm looking forward to just getting back out over the road. And, you know, it's amazing how money just kind of, it solves a lot of problems. Anybody who says that, you know, money doesn't buy you happiness has never had money. Because money does buy you happiness. It's extremely stressful to not have money. Whenever you have plenty of money, you have enough money to cover anything that comes up and get anything you want. That removes a lot of stress out of your life. For most of my life, I've lived paycheck to paycheck like just about everybody else. And it was really stressful. It was extremely stressful. Anytime I had an unexpected expense, it just like, oh my God, my stress levels were so high. And I decided to make a change with that. And I started, piling up money. Not a lot of money, but enough money that I could pay all my bills and, not have to worry about unexpected expenses. And that's the way I've lived my life for several years. And I'm starting to get back to that paycheck to paycheck with all of these unexpected expenses that's just ripping through all of my money that I have set aside. So, I don't know. I probably shouldn't be making a video right now because I'm just like really stressed out and ticked off about this mechanic fucking up my truck right now. I hear him in there banging on it again. Be your own boss, self-dispatch on the Super Ego load board. One of the front desk people I was chatting with them, and they were talking about getting their CDL. I was like, no, don't do that. You do not want to work in this industry. And he's like, well, I was thinking about getting my CDL and then, working for the oil and gas. And I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. That's actually decent. But it's, very volatile. It's lots of ups and downs. I mean, whenever they're booming, it's a great place to be. But whenever they take a downturn, you lose your job real fast. So, I don't know. It's a good place to be during the boom. And I've been hearing a lot of people talking about the boom. The guy that owns the parking lot that I park at, he used to own a company that I don't know what exactly it did in the oil fields. I knew he owned a pipe company, but I think he owned another oil field company as well. And he shut all that down. And he said that he's still got a lot of friends that work in that industry, and a lot of them have been hitting him up, telling him that the oil fields are about to kick off in the next 3 to 6 months. And they were asking him if he was going to get back into it. He's like, nope. And the front desk guy here that I was talking to said that he's been hearing the same thing. British Petroleum, BP, owns TA Petro. And he said what he's been hearing is that the oil fields are going to pick up in the next 3 to 6 months. And they're expecting to hire a lot more people here and take this back to a 24/7 operation. The shop right now is only open from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. So I've been hearing from multiple people that the oil fields are kicking off in the next 3 to 6 months. Only one of them was a legitimate source. The guy that owns the parking lot. The guy at the front desk at the TA, I don't know where he got that information from. That could have just been some truck driver telling him that. Some super trucker. What's going on here? I don't think you're going to make it in there at that angle, bro. I think he's going to take out that tire rack at that angle. Yeah, he's backing out. His trailer is at quite a bit of an angle. Well, at least he noticed it and he backed out before he took out the tire rack. Hopefully. I don't know. I didn't hear him hit it. But I think I'm going to wrap this up and go back over there and see what the damage is. I still hear him over there banging and shit. And I'm going to make sure he replaces that damn gasket. I'm quite certain that that gasket is not expensive, and I know that I'm going to have it replaced. I think I'll go over there and get some video footage of it real quick. How many we got?
Yeah, 2 left.
2 left? Oh, sweet. How many of them are reusable?
I think he has another set of them.
He told me he had 6. So how many is it? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he has to have 2 reusable.
Yeah, I think he does.
Otherwise, he told me it's going to cost me $300 from Volvo, and I'm thinking, I'm not the one that screwed him up. I don't know. We'll debate that if it comes to it. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Is he coming back around? Okay. Yeah, I saw him coming in at an angle, and I was like, he's going to take out that tire rack.
That's what I thought. As soon as he started going, I was like, oh, no.
Well, at least he stopped before he hit it. Are you the one that stopped him?
Yeah.
Oh, you stopped him. Okay, I thought he saw what was going on.
No.
Then it's a good thing you were watching.
Yeah, straight through.
Okay, so the driver is not the one that saw what he was doing. It was the mechanic that told him to stop. But I'm going to wrap this up. They've got 6 of the 8 cone-shaped things out of there. So they've got 2 left, which the more of them they remove, the easier it should be to get the remaining ones out, because with more of them removed, it allows you to vibrate and, bang the thing around and knock the other ones loose easier. So it should be easier to get those out. But that's what's going on with me. Hopefully, we have enough of those cone-shaped things that we can reuse. And the bearings look decent. And if all of that is okay, then I'm going to let them go ahead and replace the brakes. Because, it was... The brakes were just completely covered in oil. It's actually probably a good thing that they found this leak, because it's my understanding that if the oil drains out, if most of the oil or all of the oil leaks out of that axle, then it'll cause the axle to get really hot, and it could actually cause the axle to melt, shear off. It could catch your truck on fire. Like, it could destroy my whole truck. I could be driving down the road, coming down the road, and it just all of a sudden my tires burst into flames, my wheels fall off, and my whole truck catches on fire. and it's a total loss. Like, that's the kind of thing that I think can happen if you don't take care of an axle leak. But I could be wrong about that. So, you know, this little $500 that it's going to cost me to get it fixed now is a lot better than a total loss of the truck. I don't know, at this point I'm kind of hoping a tornado hits my house and you know, somebody takes out my truck and my car. Everything has full coverage. So I would prefer to get insurance payouts on everything at this moment. If I lost everything somehow, and you know, I had insurance payouts for replacement cost, I would just scrap everything. I would sell my property in as-is condition for, like, you know, $25,000, $50,000 or something, basically for an empty lot. And I would go do something else. I kind of want to just, like, get a bunch of camping supplies and just take off out into the woods. Who is that McCandless kid they made that movie about? I forgot what his first name is, but I want to say his last name's McCandless. Some kid right out of high school or college. I can't remember if he'd just gotten out of college or high school, but he was young, early 20s, late teens, and he took off to Alaska and just, like, was gonna go live in the woods in Alaska. And he did not live very long. I can't remember the details about how long he lived and how he died. I want to say that he ate, like, some poisonous berries or something like that, and he only lived out there for like 6 months or something. I think he only survived for a few months, and, like, I think he died by eating some kind of poisonous plants. But I'm not sure about that. There's like a documentary, well, not a documentary, but there's a movie based on him. That's kind of like what I want to do, except I don't want to, you know, eat poison berries and die in 6 months. Just want to kind of take off out in the woods and survive. Like, there are people that do that in Alaska, but it's not legal. Like, there are, like, forest rangers or whatever the hell they are that go out and try to track those people down because they're trespassing on either private or public property. There is no property that exists that's not owned by somebody, so you can't just go live off the land unless you're constantly on the move and hiding and being a criminal. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go cry about all the money that I'm spending and get back to the house, try to enjoy the rest of the weekend. I don't know, I've been stressing out so much that, like, I've been having issues sleeping. I'll fall asleep for like 30 minutes and then I'll wake up in a sweat just because I'm so stressed out about everything right now. Maybe I'll get really exhausted and I'll be able to get an actual good night's sleep. But that's what's going on with me. And hopefully I'll be back out over the road at some point this week. I've got a new phone. I bought some like $50 Motorola phone that hopefully is going to work pretty well for recording driving footage. And I got a new mount for the dash that is supposed to be a lot more stable than the last mount. So hopefully I'm going to have much better driving footage going forward. And hopefully we get some decent rates and we can make some money And who knows, maybe I'll try to grow the YouTube channel and have a secondary stream of revenue that can help to cover these unexpected expenses. You know, $500 here, $500 there. I don't know how much it's going to cost me for the roof. My insurance on the house is, oh man, I can't even remember what it is. I want to say it's close to $4,000 per year insurance. And that's only because I increased my deductible from like $1,000 up to like $3,500. If I still had my $1,000 deductible I originally had when I bought the house, then I think my insurance would be like $6,000 or $7,000 a year. It's insane. Like, the insurance, it just, when I bought the house about 12 years ago, insurance was $1,700 a year with $1,000 deductible, and it had better coverage. Now the coverage is worse. My deductible is like $3,500 instead of $1,000, and it's like $4,000 a year. It's just crazy. So I'm probably going to file an insurance claim on the roof. And what I think I'm going to do is insurance is going to total the whole roof. And they're probably going to pay me out for an entire roof replacement. That looks really weird. Do you see that purple? Is that a Peterbilt? Do you see the front end of that truck, the tire, the steer tire? How high up it goes? Maybe it... It looks like the front end of that truck is setting really low on the tires, on the steer tires. I don't know, maybe that's just how Peterbilts are. Anyway, I haven't heard any banging in a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna go check on them. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope things are going really great for you. And as far as the freight market goes, I'll talk more about the freight market in later videos, but the last thing I said about the freight market, late last year, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, I think it was the last time I talked about the freight market, and I said for the first time I was optimistic, and I thought that we could see the freight market turn around by, somewhere around summer. The brokers always, they're going to fight rate increases for as long as they can, so I thought maybe by this summer we might see some rate increases. The market might turn around. But my opinion is changing by the minute. The tariffs did not go as expected. What's been happening with the tariffs is a tit for tat. The tariffs are there so that we can have balanced trade with other countries. We got rid of the tariffs or severely reduced them back in the 90s, and it's not a Democrat or a Republican issue. George Bush Sr., you remember him always talking about New World Order? Getting rid of the tariffs was part of that. He was talking about creating a global system, a global supply chain. And then Bill Clinton continued with that New World Order rhetoric and NAFTA. And that's really around the time when manufacturing left the country, was in the 90s under Bush and Clinton, because of them basically getting rid of tariffs. So now we're trying to re-implement those tariffs, which could potentially bring the manufacturing back to the United States, which is awesome. You remember those old jobs that people used to have? Those unskilled labor jobs that were like middle-class jobs? I mean, you could make back then like $30,000, $40,000 a year, like screwing on refrigerator doors on on an assembly line. Those jobs are pretty much gone now. Those jobs, you could work at that place for 30, 40 years, retire from it. They had great retirement, great benefits. Almost all those jobs left the country because of our politicians. So bringing these tariffs back could potentially bring those jobs back. But what's happening is all of these countries have grown dependent on this unbalanced trade. So every time we increase the tariffs on them, they come back and increase tariffs on us. This little tit for tat. It's a trade war. And the Canadian Prime Minister flat out said that if we impose a 25% tariff on Canada, it'll destroy them. That's the type of tariff it would take to create trade balance between our two countries. And Canada says that it would destroy their country if we had balanced trade. So that's the issue that we're in right now, is that our politicians have put us in a situation where there's going to have to be massive change and extreme repercussions in order for the system to be corrected. And that's what we might be going through right now. I don't know. We'll have to see how all this plays out. But right now, I'm on the fence on whether or not the freight market's going to improve or stay the same or get worse this summer. I'm just on the fence right now. I'm no longer optimistic because a trade war has kicked off and we're seeing these tit-for-tat tariffs, which creates uncertainty, which creates volatility, which is bad for the economy. The economy. So anyway, I will rant and rave more about the freight market at some later date. Hope you're having a great weekend, and hopefully my drama is almost over with here. Have a good one. Bye.